I'm James Roddie. I'm a photographer and outdoors writer based near Inverness. I do a lot of climbing, caving, hill walking, and more recently, gorge scrambling. Today we've been in the Eathie Gorge on the Black Isle. It's in between Fortrose and Cromarty, hidden away in the woods, going down from hillside all the way down to the sea. It's about a mile long and about 120 metres of descent. I know this one guy in Fortrose that's he's lived here forever, and he told me that he thinks somebody climbed it maybe years ago, but he doesn't really know. And I Google search everything, I just can't find any history of the place at all. And like just looking around, there's no evidence really of anybody else having been here for years, you know, if ever. So yeah, it's quite interesting to wonder if it's ever actually been done before fully. Today was about getting somewhere quite different from the more well-known gorges in Scotland, and just, to be honest, seeing if it was doable in its entirety, you know. It's definitely an adventurous route, and it's inescapable for quite a lot of it. After the second pitch, you're more or less committed. There's 4 abseils in total, and the first abseil and the fourth abseil, they're okay, but you wouldn't want the trees to be any less secure. It's quite a technically easy gorge. There's no climbing or free descent when you're not on a rope that's that hard at all. Everything that's actually difficult, you're attached to a rope for, but it's actually quite serious, I think. I always think something like this is more like a winter climb, you know. You're out for a long time, and once you're on, you're in it, you know. If I was forced to give it a grade of seriousness, it would be on the caving grading scale. I'd probably give it a grade 3 out of 5. It would be a pretty classic caving descent. If it was below ground, it would be a great kind of multi-pitch caving descent. Along the length of the gorge, there's little kind of tracks kind of running to and fro. Most of them, I think, are deer tracks. There's not really evidence of footprints or anything like that at all. Look at this. Is somebody just driven into the gorge from the top? There is evidence of people about, but most of it, we don't quite know how it's got there. Wreckage of cars all along this. I reckon there's 2 or 3 cars in this gorge. Really old bits of radiators and all sorts. You just think that road up the top, when was the last time somebody drove a car into that by mistake? Crazy. Most of my gorge scrambling or caving or climbing is done solo, and has been for the last maybe 6 or 7 years. Just as a natural progression from climbing with partners, I found myself going out more and more often by myself, and potentially just seeking out a kind of more personal adventure than maybe you can get with somebody else sometimes. Look, it's where it's been in the winter storms. It's quite scary. But just more recently, I've found myself just more interested going out with other people again, and especially on a trip like today when you're covering a lot of ground, and there was definitely a sense of the unknown in the second half of it. I didn't quite know what we were going to find on that fourth pitch. It's definitely a wiser thing to do with somebody else. I wouldn't have been quite so happy going there by myself, I think. quite like to get a shot of you going down the pitch. So if you could go first on the next pitch, I'll shoot from the top. Yeah, so if you just start going.
Yep, yeah, cool.
Get a bit wet doing that one. It's a pretty classic adventure, you know, or at least it should be. It should be more well known about. It amazes me that it's so unknown, or almost it's obscure to the point that a Google search revealed nothing. I don't know about the fourth pitch. That's kind of a question mark. that could be like the crux. So yeah, we'll see. I'll probably want to have a look at that one first. Yeah, okay, cool. We're going to have to be super careful on the takeoff from this pitch because it's really slippery just here.
Okay.
This one is very slippery the whole way, and there's a lot of ground cover. This is probably the longest one that I've done to date. So when you're standing there, make sure you've got a good hold with your left foot. That last pitch, the fourth pitch, the abseil, it felt quite wild with that swing out onto the abseil. So today I was wanting to get quite close shots from the tops of the waterfalls, kind of the actual abseils off the top, and side on through the waterfalls of somebody in descent.
Accomplished indeed.
What a bizarre finish to a gorge scramble that is. I've never seen a route end in such a odd way. That's quite up there for sudden scenery changes. Usually a gorge scramble you will top out onto a hillside that you then have to descend down maybe back to where you started from. With this you're in a deep wooded dark gorge with cliffs on either side, and it's trees, and it's almost like a jungle for most of its length, and there's ferns everywhere. And then there's the sea right there. Just, yeah, incredible kind of contrast from what you just come out of. Nice one, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool. Now we've got to walk all the way back up that hill. It's the easy bit, it's the gorge, you know? It'll warm us up. It'll warm us up.